Welcome to the PPC Radio Show. So happy to be back. We are here with Shelly Shell Williams, DJ Kid Disco, and my cousin Cecilia Williams, who has so much information. She's going to be schooling us on. We've actually had a whole show the last 15 minutes. So I was like, hold up, wait, save it. So we're going to go with some commercials, and then we are coming back and jumping right in. Welcome. Share. Such a hesitation. Anyway, so
yeah,
we need to pay those bills.
How much time do we have? That
I don't know. There's only. Can we have commercials, kid? There you are. Yeah.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the Wacky Waterfall?
that's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the Wacky Waterfall.
It's the shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com, then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Hi, Tom Bodette. Motel 6's new improved website lets you book a room and save more for what you travel for faster than ever. Even faster than you can find your keys, which you swore were right on the little hooky thing by the garage door where they always are, and we can land a robot on a comet, but we can't keep keys from disappearing. Oh, here they are. Left them in my jacket. Don't you hate that? I'm Tom Bodette for the new improved Motel6.com, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Hey, welcome to Everything Outdoors. Can I help you find anything?
Hey, yeah. Can you point us to the camping gear?
Sure, aisle 2.
Snowboarding? Just bought a new Nissan Pathfinder. It's got intelligent 4x4, and we want to hit the backcountry.
Aisle 18.
And the boats?
Are you sure you can do all this?
Up to 6,000 pounds towing, we're good to go. Oh, where's the scuba gear?
Return to rugged in the all-new 2022 Nissan Pathfinder. Available intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions. Towing capability varies by configuration. See Nissan Owner's Manual for proper use.
The COVID-19 vaccines can be our chance to get back to our plans, who we are, what we miss, to get back to each other, to life. But it's okay to have questions, like, how were the vaccines tested? In rigorous clinical trials among adults of diverse backgrounds. Can the vaccines give you COVID-19? You cannot get COVID-19 from a vaccine. Why should I get vaccinated? Protecting yourself also helps protect the people around you. Find the latest information at getvaccineanswers.org.
Hi, this is Cinda Williams, and I am so blessed to tell you about a new book on survival called Faith, Failure, Success, Volume 2, Surviving the Storm. Erica Summers, Martha Chavez, Latricia Rice, Nicole Reed, Vania Hudson, and I have come together to share our deepest challenges and how we overcame. Please check it out on Amazon.com and wherever books are sold.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of Amazon's roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in their buildings to keep people healthy. Go to Amazon.com/apply. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
WGFB-FM radio.
So are you ready? Yeah.
How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365.
PPC, 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 yeah. PPC, PPC, CPC, yeah. Join so we can grow together. Conversation, get that healing. Let them know what they're missing. Share with your best friend. Tell them come hear this, yeah. Don't you dare miss your blessings. Powerful lessons, true confessions, yeah. PPC, yeah. A powerful tool for you, PPC, yeah. A powerful tool for you and me. PPC,
Yay! Welcome to the PPC Radio Show. And again, we have Shelly Shell Williams, DJ Kid Disco, and my cousin Cecilia Williams joining us.
Williams rule. Williams just took over the building. Woo woo.
I know it's like some kind of like unspoken rule.
Oh, I'm
like
sorry, y'all.
No, that's okay. I appreciate your pause.
I'm a little bit slow on the,
That's okay. It's like an unspoken rule for some folks to not have their family. I'm like, I can't not have my family. There's too many freaking amazing people that are a part of the family, and I'm going to showcase every layer of one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
The family.
Yeah. I mean, recidivism, whatever how you say it.
Recidivism?
Yeah. That word. That's me. I don't give a crap. I'm going. My friends and family that are amazing. They're gonna come out. So Shelly has her segment.
Yeah.
Go for it. This is a surprise for you, Cecilia.
Oh, Cecilia, are you ready? Oh my goodness, are you ready? But I think you are, because we already been talking. So we have the true confessions that you can say. Any true confession. It has to be deep. It can be funny. But you give us your true confession and we'll follow suit. So anything could be, I don't like peanut butter and jelly. So go ahead, Cecilia, it's on you. Woo, woo, woo.
Dang, I should have given me a little heads up so I can actually.
No, we don't want no heads up. We want it to be right from the.
Confession. What am I not a fan of? I'll tell you what, I'm not a fan of, gosh, what is this? The big things, big shows that are out right now. I would say that I'm not a fan of the classic shows that have been out that everybody's supposed to love, like
the
reboots. What?
The reboots of the classic show.
Can't stand those. The reboots, and honestly, if I didn't even like the classics, like where everybody's saying, "Oh, Friends, you had to know Friends, you had to watch Seinfeld." All this, I never was a fan. No, my confession. Never watched one episode. Honestly.
Well, how would you know you're not a fan if you didn't watch the episode?
That's right. How can I be? Well, because I never was interested. I didn't think it ever was something I was interested in watching. Maybe if I got caught up in it, but even my children. Oh, Mom, I've been watching Seinfeld episodes. I've been watching Friends. I've been watching The Office. I like The Office, but I'm not a fan. It's not like I'll constantly watch it. The Stranger Things, yes, but not the old school classic shows. Something about it just never attracted to me. And is it a confession to say because I feel like I didn't connect with them because all I saw was ones who didn't look like me? Is that okay to say that? That's probably why.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
That's my confession. How can I connect with Seinfeld? Because he was New York white male comedian who I probably didn't think it was funny in stand up to begin with. Okay, that's my confession there.
I like that confession.
That's true. I didn't think it was funny in a stand up. Why would I think it'd be funny in a show?
I get it. I like that. Go ahead, Cinda.
Well, it's funny you say that because I'm the same. I never, ever, and it's not that I'm not a fan because I don't know if I would be a fan because I haven't watched it because there was nothing in the art, nothing in the promotions, nothing in anything that drew me in. And I love comedy. I love it. And I actually have watched Seinfeld and he is funny to me. But the shows, the Friends, all those, and I think it's the same reason. There was nothing that was like piqued my interest about the lifestyles of these people.
Well, Friends was a ripoff.
Yeah, because what connection do I have with these white female girls, females, and also these men that I don't have that same type of experience living with them in that.
What about shows like Living Single?
I love Living Single. Absolutely loved it because these are single women of color and they were trying to be successful in business.
So you didn't like the white shows? That's your confession.
Yeah, you're calling it out.
Okay. Let's keep it 100.
Confession, truly, it's confession more than I realized. So I apologize for anything that I've said that would offend people, but
that's okay. They wouldn't watch. They don't watch some of the stuff.
Living Single. They don't watch Living Single.
Which they stole. Friends was stolen from Living.
I was wondering if that was a connection like that. Because for me, I felt like that was too similar. Simple friends living together, being in a big city, and then going through the experiences. I said, wait, doesn't that sound like something that happened in the 90s with these ladies? Men were involved, the neighbors were involved, they were men, single too. It's just too much, too close.
Yep, it was supposed to be Living Single. Friends was supposed to be the name. They didn't go with that. They went with Living Single. So then they took it and then they made Friends. And it's crazy how Friends lasted so much longer and got so much more money and so much more everything.
Why? You know why. We all know why.
Yeah.
Well, I think I know why.
I can give you the technical reason why, because this is something that, is my business, obviously. It's something I've researched because there were so many shows, especially on Fox, that were super successful, that were led by people of color. And basically what it was is they realized that they could build their network with Black folks. They could build their network that way, but they never wanted to re-up their contracts. They never wanted to give them more money. They would rather start another Black show and pay them this base salary, this lower salary. No matter how successful the show is, they would get rid of it because they never wanted to renegotiate those contracts with those actors. They just didn't care about longevity. They only cared about that upfront building of the network. They were building a network off of us. And then, and it got to the point where we built the network enough. So then they started doing other shows, which were more of the kind of programming that they cared about. And even though those shows may or may not have done as well, they lasted longer because they didn't mind paying them more money. They didn't want to raise up our how much money we make. And that has been the case for a lot of television, but Fox was especially known for that. And you're right. The only reason why I ever watched Seinfeld at all, maybe once or twice, is when I've been visiting my brother, who loves him. He loved that show. He loved The Office. He loved all those. I can't remember that other HBO show with the dude that created Seinfeld. His show, Hassan, my brother Hassan, loves that.
What, Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, that one too.
I never watched it. And it wasn't because I didn't think it wasn't good, because I didn't even know. It just wasn't anything that made me go, But at the same time, I wasn't watching Living Single either. I guess I'm just not a big TV watcher, but I do like the sci-fi, like I like Stranger Things, that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I will spend my time watching, but I'm not going. But I did like, you were talking about reboots. I did like Will Smith's the what's it called? A show?
Bel Air.
Yeah, and I heard good things.
I did like that show a lot. I loved how they updated it, made everything way more realistic and from the current days politics, current days everything. And I still haven't finished it. I haven't had time, but what I saw of that I loved. But I don't watch TV enough to care about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I would have to say that I've watched Seinfeld, but it's not something I watch. Friends I do watch. But I'm not a TV watcher either. I just have certain shows I might key in on and then watch it, binge watch it and then move forward, but I'm not a TV.
So what about
TV watch? I don't watch reality shows either.
I never watched reality shows until this year. I went through some really devastating trauma, and I just, for some reason, was drawn to shows about people in relationships. And so I watched stuff, and I know a lot of that stuff is scripted. I know a lot of it's not real, but I don't know. It was so, and I binged all those kind of shows for about 2-3 months. I just binged one or after the other, and I don't know why, but it made me feel good. So like
it was therapy for you. You looked at them and saying, listen, life is, life is like that. Oh, y'all going through it? Yeah, I'm gonna kick your butt. I just don't like the fact that I used to watch it, but I don't like the fact that we're portrayed as we always fighting each other, which is not true. It's not. We're not all fighting each other. We're not all calling each other names, which is why I love Lizzo. Lizzo's reality show was amazing. You could see her heart in the whole thing. If anybody fought, she kicked them off. We don't do that here. We love each other here. I was like, okay, Lizzo. Even though, everybody talked about it, but Lizzo was amazing. Her show was amazing. I saw the heart of the classy. Even if they was twerking, twerk. We could twerk all day, but they loved each other.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Go ahead, Disco.
Kid, what's up? What about you? Nothing? No comments? We already know his shows, his taste. He likes everything.
Yeah, I got nothing.
He likes everything. He watches everything.
You don't watch Friends. You don't watch Friends.
I have watched Friends. I know who Joey and Zoe and yeah.
Joey and Zoe? Would you gonna say that?
Well,
Joey and Zoe, huh?
I know Joey. Everybody. Joey had a spinoff show. It was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michelle, if you remember, we've had this whole discussion on it. Remember you said I should do a whole show on spinoffs and all of that and TV.
Because you know everything about the TV, what they did, how they do it. You could break it on down. He has a lot of education on the television.
Yeah. Way more than me. Way more than me.
I was a weirdo kid. I mean,
No, you're a weirdo right now. So
well, yeah,
that hasn't changed.
I think the pandemic has put a lot of people in front of the screen, like just watching to see what shows have been developed over the years and the storylines, and then being able to pick and choose what we think we can relate to.
Now, see, I couldn't tell you what's going on today as far as television. I do know, I will say this, the show about Philadelphia is winning all kind of Emmys and stuff.
Oh, you mean by LaQuinta Brunson?
Yes.
LaQuinta Brunson, yes, she is a Philadelphia native, and what's it called? Abbott
Elementary. The world is loving that show. They're loving Philadelphia. It's so Philadelphia.
It is so. It's the joint, yo. It's the joint.
It really is the joint. That's that 215 George, like, yeah.
Yes, it's the joint. Cheesesteaks, water rice, and everything in between.
Including Jim Gardner.
True.
They had the episode with Jim Gardner in there, like, and y'all like, what are we talking about? It's some Philly stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely some Philly
But
stuff.
Cinda is
supposed to be in Philadelphia next week.
Cinda is an
I
honorary.
never heard from these people. Never.
Really?
I never heard. This is the 6th job this year, this summer, that just went away. No communications. Had dates, blocked out time. No communications. I'm very tempted to just take myself out of availability from.
Actually, the goal is if anybody books anything, they have to put.
They gotta pay me. They gotta.
So you cannot. I would not.
That's me from now on, because I've lost so much money blocking out time, and it's over. I'm actually starting. Yeah.
Sure, you want me to block the date? Send me a deposit right now, and then I'll block the dates for you. And it's up to you. And the contract will say it's up. If you don't respond, if you don't go for it, you do not get your deposit back. Period.
Right. Exactly. That's literally from now on. That's from now on, because it's been. I understood it when it happened during COVID. That's understandable. But now, there ain't no excuses. And I do understand also, though, the economy is killing independent films, independent anything. It's killing it because the stock market is so up and down, and people are afraid to invest right now. So they're pulling their money from projects that they offered. So, but still, to not call me, to not confirm. I heard from her 2 weeks ago, okay, we're getting ready to send you your tickets. And here I am. It's supposed to be next week. And so anyway, let's get to Cecilia. We got 10 minutes before we have a break. So Cecilia, everybody, if you didn't watch the podcast or listen to the podcast, Cecilia is, like I said, my cousin. She's also a teacher, a grant writer, a certified health specialist, health education specialist, and just a straight up knowledgeable person. And now we got into into the podcast about the background of the Filipino community, Filipino American, Filipino period, and how they are known for their nurturing nature, and they are known for they work in the healthcare field. I mean, almost every hospital I've been, there've been Filipino people. Yes. And that's kind of like you were led into that direction naturally.
Yes, because the majority of caregivers provided worldwide in the healthcare field and also in the general caregiving field, raising children, nannies, things like that for international families. They know about the Filipino community being involved. So whether it's in Asia, where the Philippine Islands are located, Southeast Asian part of the world, even here in the US and Canada, South America, Middle East, and Europe, the Filipino caregiving profession is very strong. So it's something that I think that was ingrained in my family, even though we were immigrants. My parents were immigrants and I was born and raised here. It was just something that I think was innate in our culture and was just passed on, even inadvertently, because I was supposed to be as Americanized as possible. And it didn't work. So giving back was always something I had naturally been directed towards. And then, working in the community health field, it's all about how can you reach the masses and help the community as a whole be healthier, happier people, than just dealing one-on-one with treating people individually, where you do see the direct impact of one person. But if you can help a community as a whole, you impact many people, and it can be passed on to the next generation too. So that's been my background for many years. My background's in community health education. What is that? It's basically helping people be understanding of how to live a healthier lifestyle, make healthier choices, and help each other as a community to build the community economically as well as health-wise, to prevent death and disease. And this pandemic is a perfect example how the community should be able to work together to help protect the health and welfare of their fellow human beings as we try to survive something that was literally killing people every single day all over the world. So, it's a direct, to me, a personal passion of mine. And I've done this for 30 years, so ever since I got my undergraduate, but got my master's in community health. And it's what I hope to do for the rest of my life, whatever God plans. So,
I have a question about I know for a time you actually were in charge of a campaign to try to get people to stop smoking. And that was a chunk of your life that I remember very well.
Yes.
How in the world do you manage to, okay, how do I say this? So you're in a family, right? You're a part of our family, and many of them smoke. And that is something that you're actively trying to combat in communities. How do you deal with that when your loved ones, people personally, are living in an unhealthy way, and have all this freaking knowledge about it? How do you manage to deal with that? Because I was looking at the guys, and I was thinking about you. When we were at the wedding, I saw all the guys smoking. That's what they do. They get together and they do everything that they can't do at home.
That's true. And that those who knew me, especially in the family, when they saw me, they said, oh, here she is. So a lot of them were straight up way away from me because they knew that I probably would, hey, how you doing? How's that habit going? You think you might be interested? Because I'll tell you, first and foremost, they have to want to do it. You can tell them how we have smart men, especially our Black men, which I did my master's thesis on, is the fact that our Black men are dying so much more higher exponentially from smoke related illnesses. than the general population. And the cigars, cigarillos, and of course, when we have the use of marijuana in tandem with the blunts that they have created from it, that's tobacco and marijuana together. You're talking about a stimulant and a depressant mixed together. It's a heart attack cocktail you're waiting to happen. And so we'll see in these years as marijuana has been legalized, the mix of those two. What does that do to your health? But these men, and also some women that still I see in the family that might be smoking, this is more of the consciousness effort. Do you want to live a healthier life? This all together, you have to consider as smoking is one of the things you need to curb down. So I always see it as when they're ready, I'm here, and they know it. There's several things that will convince people to quit smoking. It's either financial, they can't afford it anymore. It's health-wise, they're going to suffer from something that they said, oh, I got to quit smoking now, which I had talked to somebody in the family that's going through that right now. Or there's family that loves them so much and they love their family, they're willing to quit for their sake because they don't want to be around them and influence them in a negative way. So those three things will be a reason why any one of the people we know in our life will quit smoking. And we're talking about any type of smoking. Okay.
Cigars. So talk about the cigars. Like cigars are like this thing now. It's like the cigar party, cigar. That's a thing now. Women are loving the cigars now. You see them, the big old stogies, and so forgive my ignorance. Is that a part of the whole smoking thing? Is it still as harmful as the regular cigarette?
It is, because, with the cigars, they don't have the filters. At least the cigarettes have the filters. When you inhale it, you're going through the filter and filtering a lot of the toxins before you even inhale it in your lungs. The most dangerous form of the smoke comes from the burning end of the cigarette and the cigar. The burning end of the cigarette and cigar makes up the majority of secondhand smoke in the environment. You don't see it, but it's there. And that's the most toxic for people who actually smoke are in a smoking room and those who are sitting around them. So the whole point is those toxins are what's exposing to, and the burning of a cigarette and the burning of a cigar and the burning of other types of forms of things you smoke and inhale, is turning it into another form of toxic chemicals regardless. So it's about the burning of that substance that's causing all those problems. Nicotine is what keeps people addicted. And that's what the cigarettes and the cigars would increase that addictiveness of it. Cigars aren't as addictive, but of course you see it, they're bigger than cigarettes. They're bigger in the way they're rolled, and they have more stronger content of tobacco in it. It's truly all tobacco. So when you have that and you're burning that's all those substances that are in the environment, not what they're inhaling, because you're not supposed to inhale a cigar. You're supposed to put it in your mouth, supposed to breathe, like suck in the smoke and like blow it out. But that smoke has all those toxins in it. And even if you're not smoking a cigar yourself, the people around you are exposed to that same carcinogens that are in it. So the lip cancer is what we see most of those who smoke cigars. So that's the one thing that we think that causes a lot of mouth cancers for cigar smokers who smoke one every day, or a couple of times a week. That's the one thing that we know that is the biggest risk for those who do smoke cigars, is the lip cancer. And cigarillos, the ones you buy in the stores. So the Phillies blunts, those things, they don't have those filters in it like the cigarettes do. That's where the lip and mouth cancers can come in. So
well, I know that also, along with what you said, the reason why the people are smoking, or the reason why they might stop is the emotional attachment to to it also. I know, it's definitely the nicotine, the dopamine burst and that you get, but it's also that, my father used to smoke and he was my best friend, or, and it's that attachment to the nostalgia of smoking that keeps some people in also. And so it's like, how do you figure out what else you can connect to your dad with?
Yeah. Social, that's called social smoking, smoking associated with your surroundings. I guarantee that people, if we give an example of a family wedding that we were at, there are people who probably didn't smoke all through the week or even all through the months, that they might not have been around those people. But that's the day. Oh, wow. Can't hang right if I can't hang fully.
Right.
And I usually do when I'm with my peeps. So that's the situation. Social smoking, that's how it starts the addiction. You start on the weekends at the parties. Got a drink in one hand, you got a cigarette in another, or whatever else. And you're socializing with your great buddies. That's usually the norm habit. Then it goes in through the week because you realize it helps you relax because you were relaxed when you're with your friends on the weekend. So regular smoking always started off with the social smoking first. That's how it started. Then it became
even if it's just like your grandma, I think I've told this story before. I had a client back when I was doing hypnotherapy and helping people with this kind of thing. And my client, he started smoking because when he was a child, his favorite person in the world, his grandmother was a smoker, and he would light her cigarettes for her on the porch. They would do it every day ritually. And it was a connection for him to her. And that's when, he started smoking. And that when we figured out through hypnosis where it began for him, we were able to help him stop. Because then we were like, okay, how else can you connect to grandma? What else did you experience with grandma that was a connector besides the cigarettes, besides the ritual of cigarette smoking? What else was it? And that's how we were able to help him to give it up. And he did. He stopped smoking once we started implanting in his consciousness bringing out other memories and saying, okay, she was also a great chef and she also made healthy foods, and so why can't you every once in a while make some of those greens that she made or whatever? And that is your connection to your memory. But if unconscious about it and you don't even know that is why you're connecting to something, it's hard to disconnect until you know what it is, where it starts.
Yes.
And then, all right, well, we got a little commercial break that we're going to run into right now, that we're going to come back and get into more. I want to get into your connection with the Muslim faith and your community and family life that way, and that village concept.
Awesome.
It's the PPC Radio Show, hosted by Cinda Williams, co-hosted by Shelly Shell Williams. Music by DJ Kid Disco on the Grown Folks Radio. WGFB FM. So are you ready? How it used to be. Something for everyone. 24/7, 365. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Okay, so I guess Facebook, we're not hearing the commercials. So Earl, hi. Joel, he says, is this cigarettes only? Are you talking about the addiction? What's is this cigarettes only? What is that reference to in that part of the conversation, Joel? Did you want to know? Because yeah, we talked a lot about different aspects of the cigarette smoking and stuff like that. Well, maybe while we're here, we can talk a little bit about what you were talking about with the COVID stuff. For those on Facebook that are listening.
Sure.
So you were explaining that COVID is like a part of our lives now.
It was a pandemic when it was first introduced, and it wasn't a disease that spread as commonly as the flu and the common cold. So it was considered a pandemic because it spread so quickly to populations that had never been exposed to it. That's a pandemic, and as worldwide. Endemic, END, like end. This is the end. Endemic is where it's actually become part of the regular community, out in terms of regular trending of illnesses related to the disease, that you kind of accept to say this is what happens during this time of the year, or this is what happens commonly as you get a cold, the common cold, the flu. Maybe you might have a strong strain of the flu this year. A lot of people got sick, but yet the flu is going to happen during this time of the year, especially cold. Well, it's going to come regularly as commonly as these two diseases, the flu and the cold, have been throughout the centuries. We knew it was going to happen even from the beginning. It wasn't about if you were going to get COVID, but when. And then when you did get it, what type of symptoms would you display, because the disease might not be as causing acute symptoms as it was when it was first introduced. And I think that we're now in that stage where people have accepted that this disease is not going away. The strain of the COVID is mutating, but even if it's highly infectious, the symptoms are very mild compared to what it was when it was first introduced to this society. And we're trying to survive through it. And there are still people who are going through the major symptoms where it requires hospitalization. And of course, we do have family and friends, close loved ones, and that maybe people that have been so affected and also have given their life because of it, of the problems that they faced with being affected with COVID. But the numbers are changing towards our advantage of being able to survive the chronic disease. It's not as serious as it was before, but yet we still have to consider that you can pass it on from one person to another. If somebody had a cold, would you still want to give it to somebody else? No. Mm-hmm. If you had the flu, would you still want to give it to your sister, or your brother, or your mother, or your father? No, of course you wouldn't. So we have to still protect ourselves to protect the person.
All right, welcome back to the PPC Radio Show. So during the break, we were talking to Cecilia a little bit about her knowledge about how COVID has now transitioned from being a pandemic, which is a new introduction of a virus, to an endemic, which is now a part of our lives, as is the flu, as is the cold, as is any number of things. It's very difficult. It's different than, like, say, polio. Polio, or one of these other kind of things that can kill people, and we have eradicated it from many different places. Yes. This is not that kind of deal.
No, it's not that kind. And given every virus has its traits that makes them different from another. If we think about different forms of diseases, whether it's hepatitis, whether it's polio, whether it is smallpox, where it can be so extreme that it will take lives. And then there's the different diseases where we hope that this COVID, endemic, as it's becoming, is more ones we can survive.
It's crazy. We can survive, but the lady, I went to the supermarket and I was spraying. I've always done this. I spray the cart with my, disinfectant. Mm-hmm. And the lady was like, I used to do that. And I'm thinking, well, why? That's why we're still fighting this. That's why we're still doing this, because we stopped what we were doing. We stopped the spraying. We stopped the wiping. Even the wipes at the supermarket were dried out. I went to I was like, it's dried out. The people don't care anymore. They're not doing what they used to. And whether I'm dying or not, I don't want it. Anything that's going to affect my everyday being, where I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm hurting, I'm in pain, my body aches, I don't want it. I wish people would go back to spraying their carts, putting sanitizer on your hands. Do what you need to do to prevent it. Why are we walking around saying I used to do that? And I turned around and looked at it like, you used to do it, huh?
And you should and then again, we don't want to preach to people to make them feel like I'm just going to block you out because I've heard it all. But we should have been doing this before the pandemic. Yeah. You should be washing your hands, using a hand sanitizer. I did it before, because no matter what, we still have the other diseases that were easily transmissible. We still have the COVID, we still have the flu, we still have these other diseases that were so easy to pass on to another. And we don't want other people around us to get sick. It should have always been that way. We should always been clean. We should always been sanitizing. We should always been disinfecting. We should always been trying to protect the fellow human being that's in our vicinity, whether they had it or whether we had it. So I was hoping, and it's unfortunate if you hear that they don't want to even bother trying to do that just for common courtesy purposes of staying clean and sanitizing things. But there was more than just COVID before there was COVID. And we should be practicing our proper public health practices which is where my background always been, just for the sake of helping protect ourselves as well as other people. It's common courtesy. And that's why I think focusing on the community as a whole and protecting each other, not just ourselves. If she said that she used to do that, she was doing it for herself. Now she doesn't want to do it for herself, but she's not doing it for other people either.
So Chauncey said, people getting lax on this pandemic. It's not over and it keeps evolving. And James says that he wears a mask to his supermarket. And I don't know how I feel about it. I remember always seeing clips from China, how people always wear masks. You know, they've been wearing masks for years. If you're feeling like you're coming down with something, you put on a mask. So as not to spread to other people. You stay away, you stay home. And so I don't know what it is. This whole idea of what freedom means is a little confusing to me at sometimes, because it's like you're free to kill people. You know, some people were that comfortable with it, remember back in the AIDS days, how people were like consciously and with awareness going out and sleeping with other people when they had AIDS, knowing they had AIDS, so it's just something, some fight, some rebellious nature in some people to harm others when they're being harmed, so it's something that, I guess individually we all got to work on. I do want to go back 1 second just for a very short moment. Joel, because he clarified, he was talking about, I think he's saying THC is THC as dangerous than as the nicotine,
a completely different drug, and it has completely different reactions for people who use it. I know people who have been able to tolerate it because it is and again, you think of THC, it's almost I believe it's the synthetic, processing of the drug pulled from another source, whether it's marijuana, what have you, but it's a different type of drug. Nicotine is a stimulant. THC, I believe, is not, but people react to it a different way, and it can be very harmful, especially.
THC is not a drug. No.
In what way would you say that?
Well, drugs are sometimes naturally made.
Some are natural, some are it's available.
It's still a drug,
Yeah, nicotine is available in tobacco naturally. Okay, but a solid drop will kill a horse. So when you're thinking about something that's being processed or concentrated, but for the effect that it will have on somebody, that's literally. You're harnessing the drug. You're trying to process the drug that comes out of it. Menthol itself. Menthol is like something that people put on for the medicines for different types of treatment of colds and also pain. That's a drug. If you think of a drug classification. Now, when you're talking about, is it a controlled substance compared to a natural substance? There we go. You can talk about that, but there are drugs at different levels of whether it's considered controlled substance or whether it's a different level substance. I mean, we're going to a whole nother ballgame when we're talking about what's considered drug, what is considered controlled.
I drink decaf, but I drink coffee every day. That's a drug.
Caffeine is a drug.
Caffeine is a drug. And one of the most prevalent insidious drugs there is.
And that really, and you honestly, when you think about drugs, you think about the addictive qualities of, no, there's drugs that are out there that have the benefits. Whatever it is, it's still a drug. See, because it has some type of benefits or has some type of impact on your body, whether it's good or bad. It's still a drug. So again, we're not.
I was watching this. There's a new show on Netflix. It's about LSD. What are the kind of drugs that affect your mind? Whatever those are called.
Psychotic.
But back in the 50s, it gets into the history of how, like LSD was used to help people and all the people. I mean, it was insane how many people were able to create the most amazing things after they had a trip. And they consciously did it for that reason. They did a study where they had, I think it was 48 scientists who were all stuck. They all had a question that they needed to answer, and they did not know. and they all did the study where they all did it, and every single one of them found the solution to the questions they were asking. I'm not saying go out and do the LSD. I'm just saying that all of this stuff, if used right and used in moderation, could have some positive benefits. I don't know the positive benefits of tobacco. I don't know the positive benefits of those, but we're still studying. Who knows that there might be something, but it's the people that go crazy and become addicted that might have an issue. But I don't know, I've never seen on TV that somebody went into a rage because they smoked a blunt, or smoked some weed. They now give them too much alcohol and they'll start shooting up a bar.
Yes.
Give them some weed and they might sing Kumbaya. So, it's all,
It's depending on the person. It all depends. I know Disco down there having a fit, but I feel like it all depends on the people. You could do it. There's no reason to get mad because some people do, some people don't. You will or you won't. You know what I mean? It all depends on who you are.
A drug maybe has a negative connotation to it now, but it didn't start off that way. It just means something that affects your body and
Yes,
changes
it
the
does. That's all it is.
It just changes the chemical makeup, what's happening in your body. And that's what a drug is. And it could be a thyroid medicine, or it could be an aspirin, or it can be weed, or it can be whatever.
What if you just like,
Just
y'all
like
do
to be
realize,
hard.
y'all do realize I'm a pothead to the 5th extreme, right?
Of course, yeah, and it does you well.
That's your life. We're not. Nobody has to say
Some
that.
Some of my best routines have been, I was blasted out my gourd.
He was blasted out of his gourd.
So I got what you're saying.
Yeah,
but it's
we
funny.
know
I have never had a drug a day in my life, and that's just what my life is. I will not take a drug. I never will. Even with the having COVID, people are like, well, what medicine you take? I don't take medicine. I have this thing about I don't want to depend on anything. I believe nature can heal whatever is going on. If that's what God gave us, then something that naturally can just go ahead and heal. Even if it takes longer to heal, I'd rather take the longer to heal because I want to see what my body can do. I want to see it repair itself. I want to see it. So I'm not going to drink coffee because it's addicting. I'm not going to drink cigarettes because it's addicting. I don't want to be addicted to anything. I love me. I love my personality. I love the way I am. I believe I'm intelligent without being high, but that's just me. You could get high all day. I love when you're high. I think you're crazy.
For the record, I'm high now.
I know you is. Look, I'm saying it's all ghetto. I know you is. And it's funny when you're high. You're so crazy. But that's you.
Yeah. And I think it's important to, follow your own instincts about that stuff. Like for instance, me, there's medication that if I don't take it, I will die. I will die if I don't take this drug, because of the state of my body. So I don't have a choice in that. You know what I mean? I had to have my thyroid cut out.
Well,
I have to have thyroid, I have to have
levothyroxine.
I have to, or.
But you know what though? I don't get sick. And it's another, I don't know if it's myth or true, but they're saying most people who smoke marijuana a lot don't get sick. And I don't get the flu. It's very rare I get the flu or any of the, I have yet to get COVID. It's very rare that I get sick.
Well,
that's true. You don't get sick, but prior to this whole thing, I didn't get sick either. I have to take the life-sustaining medicine, which is the thyroid, but that's one thing you have to take. But I'm not going to go out there and say, let me get high. I like who I am. I don't know what being high would mean. Would it take me from who I am right now? I wouldn't like it. If it makes me anything different than who I am, that's how much I love me. If it makes me any different than who I am, I don't want to do it. I want to walk in this world like me every day.
So you see what I mean, Cecilia? We have no idea what we're going to ever talk about.
I know, right? But Cecilia, we were talking about the Muslim faith. So, right? That's what you want.
So how is the Muslim faith when it comes to drug use? What? I don't even know. What do they drink? What?
Well, I will tell you that from the time that Islam was revealed as the religion, as part of, I would say, I have to first off say that in Islam, we believe in one God. We also believe in the messengers. and that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was the final messenger, not the only one. So the other religions that we do believe in the prophets that had revealed a message during the time is also the Torah, and as well as the gospel. So with following the Torah, as well as the Christian belief of the Bible that was revealed by, Jesus, peace be upon him. It's those type of tenets, the 10 Commandments, the at least in the Psalms. We believe in the Psalms as well, and just the teachings of how you live your life. And with that, there's a way of life that we say, okay, these are things that we feel might hinder us being able to practice, worshiping God the best we can. And a lot of that has to do with the clear mind of thought. So if anything that might deter us from a clear mind of thought, we should be, prohibited or stay away from it the best we can, so we can be able to pray to God the best that we know how, and be knowledgeable of what we are asking for, that we are praising God the best we can in a clear mind, and asking for forgiveness for any mistakes we made. Now, with alcohol, it had been revealed, look, that causes the most detriment to society, period, and I'm not going to talk about being Muslim in this way of reason why we shouldn't drink. Not to say that people don't make mistakes and they do, make those life choices and other life choices. Okay, that's them personally, and not as much in terms of religious aspect as with any other religion. But when I was in my master's and also with undergrad, and we were talking about drug use dependency, why does it occur and how does it affect your body? One thing I know, the professor said that alcohol causes some more detrimental problems to society. And he was diehard Christian, but he wasn't like the religious fanatic. He was just saying, I'm just saying with the drug use, more dangerous consequences with alcohol use than marijuana. And the only reason why marijuana, it wasn't legal during that time, this was like 10, 15 years ago, is because alcohol is. The only reason why marijuana wasn't legal is because alcohol is, and there was a trade-off politically. Okay. And I believe that wholeheartedly. The only reason why marijuana isn't legal nationwide is because alcohol is. So that was told that way. Now, in terms of, again, clear mind, clear thoughts, in terms of religion, it's best to be of all that, to take care of your body. And I'm more on Shelley's side of natural ways, the ways that exist. There are cures for cancer out there, at least in terms of treating a disease, treating other diseases that were found in nature. They are in nature. So naturally, there are ways that you can heal your body.
Well, what about right quick? And then I've wanted the shamans and the Native Americans. They needed the peyote, the different things like that. That is a part of their getting clear with God. Now, because I can be objective about it, because I haven't done hard drugs ever before, but I've done weed before, obviously, and I've had some trips by that. But I also can feel the same kind of way when I fast, when I don't eat, for up to 3 days, just drink water or whatever. I literally feel like I do when I'm high, except for I'm higher. I'm higher when I fast. Or if you don't sleep a lot, you can start feeling some, and experiences. So there are ways to do it, that to connect. But when it comes to, when you talk about clarity, I sometimes, depending on the kind of weed it is, I notice things I definitely do not notice. And when it comes to clarity, that a connection with God, I have experienced amazing connection with God on weed. And it's not necessarily, usually it's not indica, because that puts me to sleep and relaxation. Sativa stimulates a part of you that makes you connect to things. Like, for instance, I might watch a movie. If I had some of that stuff in there and didn't know I was having, because I don't like it because I'm already clear. I don't need any help. But when I'm watching a movie, you hear every instrument, everything is noticeable. The sky, you see more colors. It's really talking about clarity. It really makes it clear. And that's no go out and do it kind of thing. I'm just saying that to be objective and honest, you say, you're clear if you're not. I say that I've been more clear sometimes when I was, and even more clear when I fast. So it's just a personal choice. It's a personal choice. So
you
let
brought
me
up something real quick. Cindy,
Sure.
we went to fasting. First of all, Muslims fast. We fast every year, the month of Ramadan, and it's a serious fast. No drink or food during that time. And then also when it comes to staying up for late hours, when we do stay up sometimes all night, and we do our prayers all night, it's a whole nother level. So again, your mind is one thing that can be able to get to a whole nother level when you change the type of lifestyle behaviors or do something to it to get up to another point where your brain starts working in areas that it hasn't been working at any other time if you were to do things normally, But to get out of that normal state of mind and take it to a higher level, you can reach it in so many different ways, So
you can. I know from personal experience. I'm telling you, I've never been more high than when I hadn't had hardly any sleep and I hadn't had any food or drink for days. I was tripping, honey. Saw things, connections, talking to God, talking to spirit. It was great. It was scary to everybody else, but it was great. Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Let me just quickly read. Chauncey said, valid. He said he's a real coffee addict. He gets mad headaches without it and gets moody. And he agrees that some drugs tap into the subconscious creative side of the mind. He said, try to tell a Rastafarian about weed and go ballistic, because they will definitely believe that connection. And then he said, facts on clarity with weed. I noticed stuff I've never noticed before, like in music, lyrics, movies. I agree with you. And don't sleep on the edibles and gummies, that's for sure. And he said, but I hear you, Shelly. My ex-wife never took an aspirin. So it just depends on the person and their own specific needs. And honestly, moderation, moderation is a thing to consider if you do partake in anything. So, there was so much more about you. Please, if you guys are listening, go listen to the podcast, because Miss Cecilia is doing so many wonderful things. I really wanted to get into, we might have you on another time just to talk about this business side of things. Shelly, she's like a grant writer.
I know, and I wanted to get to that because I have a nonprofit and I really need grants. So I definitely need your help with that. I've had a nonprofit for many years and I've only gotten maybe 1 or 2 grants in the whole time, because I've had a grant writer, 2 grant writers, and both of them stole my idea, got a grant with my idea, 2 of them, and then wanted to say hi to me later. I said, are you kidding me? You got a grant with my, I turned in my paper here. They got the grant for my idea, 2 of the grant writers.
Wow.
So, believe
let
me,
me help you on that. Yeah. Tips and tricks.
I'll hook y'all up. I'll hook, or when we end the show, y'all can talk. And because that is something that, so many people don't know the money that is available. There's tons and tons and tons of money that's available. We just don't know how to get it. And it's somebody like Cecilia knows how to get it. And there are people out there, but you have to know them and know their integrity, because they're, when you're working that closely with someone with something that's new and people get greedy, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. Well, thank you, Cecilia. Please tell if you want anybody to follow you or whatever, or anything you want to share. You don't have to share anything. It's up to you about, usually people are pushing a product or something, but I don't think you are.
And you know me, I'm one about the community, and I'm here to help, much to the chagrin of people who are wanting me to make lots of money out of this. I'm about community based, and it's just about helping others. But I would say they could get in contact with you, have, of course, my email, and then I do have my Facebook, but it is a family specific Facebook. So if anybody wants to send me a message and would like to ask me questions directly, I would say go ahead and give them the email address to share with me, cecilia.williams.1107
Cecilia.williams at what?
.1107 @gmail.com.
Okay. Cecilia.williams1107 @gmail.com. I think Shelly's going to put that in.
I didn't get it. I'm a little slower than normal. I'm normally slow. I'm normally on top of it. I couldn't even figure out how to spell Cecilia.
Chauncey said we got to have you back because, like I said, there was just so much information that you can share and help people that I knew that an hour is not enough time for some folks. So, but thank you so much for your expertise and all of that.
Yes.
You have so much to offer. Shelly, do you have anything you want to share?
No, like I said, I'm a little slower today, but just follow me on Instagram at Shelly Shell Williams. I'm gonna be back, y'all. I'm gonna get my senses about me soon.
Yeah. And DJ Kid Disco, do you want to share?
Thanks to marijuana, I got nothing.
Oh no, you got something. We got to do a podcast in the next few minutes, so get it together. And speaking of podcasts, I have Augustin Garibaldi coming on this week. He is a filmmaker and a whole bunch of other stuff that I have yet to find out about. All I know is he got a lot of contacts and a lot of guests are coming through him. He's amazing. He's out of Minnesota, originally from New Orleans, and he'll be on the show this week and we're sharing some music. And so listen in to the podcast. Please reach out to Cecilia if you have any questions about grant writing, but that's it. All right, y'all. Well, it has been a blessing to be with you today. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone who listened in. Please share this. And if you haven't subscribed to Shelly's page on YouTube or my page or Grown Folks Radio page, you can always get past shows, anything that you need on YouTube. Cinda Williams, Shelly Shell, and Grown Folks Radio. All right. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Bye, y'all.